share the show, annoy the maggot in your family. The one thing that pumps the show out better than anything else is hitting the like. Meanwhile, subscribe. Sure. You gotta do that. My clips today. Oh my god. Too much stuff. Happening, smart pants. Hi everybody. Just about to look at that. See, the likes are flying in. Good work. Thank you guys. I see them. There you go. There's Lisa. Thank you so much. Also, people on Insta, feel free to say something. Chat. Send me an emote or something like that. That helps immensely. You don't have to chit chat through most of it. I know it's hard to type on your phone and watch the show at the same time. That's what you do. All right. Man. About ready to start. Wait, 10 more likes, we can start. Heck, let's just start right now. Hi everybody, welcome to the show. It's Hal Sparks, Megaworldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show, etc. Excuse me, I'm getting a call right now. Yes, hello. Yes, put him through. It's the White House. Just tell him I said that tariffs only work in limited situations, and if you just max everything out, it's no longer a tariff. It's the primary economic wall that you put up, and so therefore it has no meaning. If it's all the same everywhere, even if you spike it to 150%, nobody believes it. Right, yeah, you have so many carve-outs. It's just, no, I won't tell anybody you called. That was Nutlick. He calls every so often because he needs to get things explained to him. Welcome to the show, everybody. And hi, chat room. Greatest chat room in the history of chat rooms. Can I tell you guys again how many compliments I hear about you guys on all the shows everywhere? Bless you. And if I haven't heard from it, it's simply because you guys show up in their chat rooms and are just nice participants. So here's what I would like you to do. If you're over there at Midas or any of those other places, or God forbid, Hamas Abi's chat room or whatever, tell them I said hi. And if they'd like to actually hear how shit works and, have a functional idea about politics as opposed to social movements masquerading as politics, which accomplish, what's the word I'm looking for? Fuck all. Then they tell them to come on over and check in with me, because it'd be a good thing. You are the best people. There's no question about it. Happy Tuesday. It's great. Yes, we are co-awesome, I would say, Pearl-wise. That's how I look at it. I think we share in the awesome. And I feel a responsibility to show up every day and be awesome for you so that, I'm not wasting your awesome time. You're livid? Well, it's a way to be. There's plenty of reasons to be that. We're going to dive in. Where do we even start? So I love me some conspiracy theories. I'm a big fan. especially the dumb ones, or especially the wholly unprovable yet self-immolating ones, which the maggots are going through right now. I would argue around like Candace Owens and Jimmy Dore and Charlie Kirk and all that kind of stuff. That there's literally a concrete wall on the reality of it, not just because government secrecy and all that kind of stuff that or the legal wall that you would put up when someone's on trial for something and you're not going to release certain information. There's a gag order, I think, in the Tyler Robinson case, again, the case against him. And so that has turned into yet another sign that the opaque deep state Illuminati pentaverate is running shit. And for those of you, that don't know, let's see, do I have an explanation for the pentaverate? Yeah.
Well, it's a well-known fact, Sonny Jim, that there's a secret society of the 5 wealthiest people in the world, known as the Pentaverate, who run everything in the world, including the newspapers, and meet tri-annually at a secret country mansion in Colorado known as the Meadows.
So who's in this Pentaverate?
The Queen, the Vatican, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, and Colonel Sanders before he went tits up.
Right. So that's, that'll catch you up on who's actually running the world. In case you didn't know, I mean, obviously, you guys are in the know, certainly. But my favorite new one, I think, is the anti-Larry Ellison stuff. Now, Larry Ellison, head of Oracle, basically running this giant organization, but being one of the sort of figurehead CEOs of our time. These guys who only know as much about their company as they watch in YouTube videos and vaguely pick up during board meetings. Like they have this kind of surface understanding of how everything works because whatever they started their business as that they might have started doing, like he started coding, I think in high school or in college and, started Oracle and all that kind of stuff later. But since then, because of AI and because of the complexity of it, it has sort of taken off and gone away from him. So a lot of it's just like they don't hear what's going on. They can't. So all they can do is kind of manage the business and try to listen to the people talking to them that may know something that work in their industry that they have hired recently. And those people will tell them kind of, well, this is the way it's headed. And they'll go, well, this is the way it's headed. And people think that this was an original thought from there. So every speech you'll hear from Larry Ellison, or even, I would argue, Elon Musk at this point, is third hand from their techs, third hand from someone on their board or in their R&D. Okay, it's fairly hilarious to watch because because of like Friday Eye, for example. Check it out on Friday mornings. I know it's the least favorite show. I know by numbers. Lowest turnout of all my shows all week, but probably the most important. That's how it usually works out. I get it, because that's the cost of being ahead of the curve. It's just what I do. But in studying all this stuff in my spare time and working on it and needling around at the tech of it as I would say a proto layperson, a meta layperson. I'm slightly above what the average person knows, but not an engineer that's gone to university. But I'm higher in that the stratosphere of understanding, right, than the average person, but not to the point where I don't remember my family's birthdays and stuff like that, and have to sit in a dark room and loud noises freak me out. Oh, thank you, Sheehan. It had to be somebody's. But the point of it is that I watch all these, all the main tech guys that have worked on all these things for a long time and what they're talking about, and I can tell when I'm listening to someone else talking about it secondhand. I can see the filter because I have to do it. I have to filter what I'm seeing for you guys so that it's digestible and palatable and that kind of stuff. But I would like to think, anyways, interpreting this stuff and explaining it as best I can. Whereas these guys are just regurgitating shit and just yammering to sound like a boss. Okay. And Larry Ellison is probably the top guy. He and Elon Musk jockey for being the closest to the actual information, but being the most full of shit at the same time. Okay. And so there's just this window of like, they've gotten to the head of the line because of early, in the case of PayPal on Elon Musk's side, or because of Oracle, and it's kind of just business architecture in the same way that, like, I would argue that Bill Gates is kind of bullshitting about AI at this point because it's well beyond his comprehension of coding, because that was left a long time ago. This is a dude who was operating in maybe C++. You know what I mean? Like, he was doing just kind of baseline stuff. Many people, maybe you don't know, but DOS, which is the operating system that Windows was built on top of, was something that Bill Gates bought from another programmer, and it was originally called QDOS because there was not an operating system for a lot of these computers that everybody was using. And so this guy drafted one. He made one, and he called it QDOS, which stood for Quick and Dirty Operating System. And he dropped the Q and just made it DOS, and called it like Digital Operating System, or whatever what he made up the word D meant. But D originally meant dirty. It was literally QDOS, okay? So even Bill Gates, as he's thought of as being kind of this nerd king in and amongst Microsoft, was probably the least most knowledgeable person at his company within a year. If that makes sense. Yes, don't confuse QDOS with QSnatch. That's a totally different
It's a malware called QSnatch.
That's different.
QSnatch.
Right, which is I think the thing that runs the sex robots that Matt Walsh is afraid of. You DOS it? Yeah. Okay. So yes, the original Q. So which just stood for quick. So right, disk operating system because he put it on a disk. Right. Okay. But it was originally dirty. That's what it stood for. So within about a year or so, in hiring other techs and building the company, he was buying these real programmers. Okay. And they all knew more than he did by far. Okay. Same thing is true of Larry Ellison. He just runs the top of the company, and increasingly there is this like this launch section in reverse where he's in the capsule and they're the rocket itself, and they're breaking away, and he's continuing on, but he's detached from the knowing how shit works. All they know is we need more servers and we need more chips and we need more power. Like, that's pretty much where these dickheads live all the time. Okay, now that brings us to the paranoia that comes with gaps in understanding. So anytime there, like, certain groups of people used to be, you would spackle all the unknown things in the world with God. They call it the God of the gaps. Anything we don't understand, just spackle God in there. God must have done that. We don't know. What's thunder? God's bowling, right? That's the sound of God bowling, right? So you would just fill all the gaps of shit you didn't know with, well, it's a mystery, and that was enough. There is in these guys, there's a sort of a genius conspiracy in that, like, if they don't talk about this or they don't explain the thing, it's because, well, you wouldn't understand it, so I'm not going to bother you with the nerd talk. When in reality, they just don't fucking know. So they can patch over their own ignorance with, I won't bore you with the details because I don't know them, right? Trump does this all the time with economics and peace plans and like everything he does that, right? That's a modern, like, CEO bullshit strategy. Then there's a huge group of people largely born from the internet and the Alex Jones world and everywhere else. And like I said, all the right wingers have started to try and carve off a piece of the InfoWars, business model, where you any gap you have, anything you don't understand or is outside your comfort zone, you spackle with conspiracy. It's got to be the CIA and Mossad and the KGB and lizard people all working together to make this happen. It's got to be a big conspiracy because I don't want to read the rest of the article. And that happens everywhere. Okay. The best part about that, and this is, I want to start us off with it. The best part, the sweet spot of that reflex from these people is that it never goes away, even when it's your own side. You would think that once Trump got in, a lot of these people would go, thank God, the deep state is dead. Everything that is done is because Trump is a genius, and I might not understand it, but I trust him to do this thing. And even if it's stuff I said I hated before, the fact that he's doing it makes it okay. It's no longer the deep state doing it, even if it's the exact same thing they were doing before, and they're continuing to do it. It doesn't matter. Now, I don't think it's a conspiracy anymore. I know it's the right thing to do. Even if Biden or Obama did it, or even Bush did it, I would go, this is a fucking conspiracy of all conspiracies. Now that Trump's doing it, I'm down, right? You would think that that's how, because MAGA's a cult, and by and large, they have, been willing to bullshit themselves that way before. But it's like a reflex. It's like an automatic, it's a knee-jerk reaction from these dickheads. And it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's so wonderful. And it is the single biggest tool against them because they carry it themselves and they strike themselves with it. It's not something we have to do. It's like a fucking wind-up toy. Like that paranoia wind-up toy that Trump started, them really on that march with the QAnons and all that kind of shit. Like, once that thing is wound up, you can't stop it. It's a Terminator mixed with the symbol monkey going, it just goes on and on and on. Okay. So much so that they can't quite grasp, and I have not pre-watched this, but I can tell from the thumbnail that this is where we're going. Media takeover. Larry Ellison, bunch of spiderweb laser, Jewish space lasers. Those are Jewish space. They have to be. And this is from Peanut Butter Dickhead, and it's indicative of something, because I want to show you one other video thumbnail as well. The new king of media, the billionaire you're not watching closely enough. Okay, well, first of all maggots should be watching him because he's one of Trump's best friends right now. Like, he's everywhere. Here's another version. This is the One Path Network. I don't know what the fuck this is, but this will give you another example of why they're saying this. ChatGPT is not safe. There's ChatGPT's logo. Money, this guy is Jew. like, look at this shit. Jew. That's what ChatGPT is now circumcised, apparently. $275 billion. Jew. And then this, yellow arrow, in case you didn't know, Jew. It's, okay. So, you get the idea. This is part of the panic amongst maggots, is because Judeo-Christian it is another example of those two trains leaving the station. Okay? Judeo and Christian are two very different things. The Old Testament and the New Testament are contradictory. Otherwise, they never would have nailed that dude to a piece of wood. Do you understand? It's because the New Covenant, which is really what the New Testament should be called, is against the Old Covenant, and how fucking dare you? Bang. Okay, it's a softer conflict than, say, Shiite and Sunni, but it's no less intense. It's just a slower boil, okay? It's the crock pot religious war versus the fucking char-grilled version that's happening the rest of the time. So, are you with me so far? Chat room, have I lost you? I feel all right, because this is a crucial aspect of what's happening in MAGA land right now, and it pops up in a bunch of different things. Be it, Candace Owens, being a hardline Catholic and leaving the Daily Wire because it's run by a Zionist Jew, right? That's why she left, not because you can't criticize the government of Israel. That wasn't it. It was literally the Judeo versus the Christian. That's and there at a certain point, you can enemy of my, the enemy of my enemy is my friend for a while when it comes to Muslim expansion, in the fucking 12th century. But you can only go so far before eventually it's a problem. And it's not going to be a problem in civilized society most of the time. But It is good. Yes, it's the crockpot religious war. It's been boiling for a long time, and it's almost done. It's almost stew. And let's see, I call it Judeo-Chrislamic because it's all the same God of Abraham. Yeah, but I mean, I would argue there's a difference slightly in that it's all a familial fight over religious control of a lineage. It's a hierarchical. It's the kids fighting over who gets to inherit the kingdom, right, and control and the key to the kingdom. So that was true of all the Abrahamic religions, right? But there's a subset version of that in the Muslim faith, be it Sunni and Shia and some of the other breakaways, that's more intense. And again, that's the char grill, the bonfire version of it versus the crockpot version, which has been stumbling along for quite some time. And that would be a bit of a split in the Catholic and Protestant, like how pagan do we allow our religion to still be, which is the Catholic version of things, because basically the saints are another form of polytheism, right? Okay, so that's a whole, I got to do a Sunday show just for that reason. Okay, that's why all religion sucks. Well, technically speaking, belief in God doesn't have to involve a religion. A religion is the mechanic around it. Religio comes from the Latin, where the word ligament comes from, to bind back, to religio. You know what I'm saying? And the idea is that you can be separate from God, and it is the responsibility of the church to tie you back to God. So you can argue that some sects of Christianity are religious and some are simply deism, right? Deism is different from religion. Okay, so I'm just categorizing these things because it's kind of important in that what you're seeing is the more intense, and I mentioned this before, but like Orthodox religion is, no matter what you do, of any sort, is incompatible with democracy at some point. You cannot let other people have a say when it would materially question your right to dominance in the afterlife. Like you just will run into that wall. And with Muslim faith, you run into it a lot quicker. With Christians, you run into it like slightly slower than that, depending on the depth. I mean, Methodists would be way down the line, but like evangelicals would be really close to that. That's why there's such sort of like a MAGA Hamas overlap in how they think about gays and women and shit like that. And then there's the Jews, depending on like the orthodoxy, the depth of the orthodoxy. You're part of a tribe, so nobody else is included. So you're not trying to have anybody join you. And as a matter of fact, nobody's allowed on the bus if you're this chosen people. So they kind of, it's a live and let live religion by almost accident in that regard. Okay. You're not on a big conversion push like the Mormons or something. Okay. So hopefully that helps with the categorization of those kind of things. But that's where that whole like Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro thing is headed, no matter what they do. It is a fucking wick that is lit, and it is burning. Okay. So, meanwhile, though, assholes like Peanut Butter Dickhead over here are trapped. Because, on the one hand, Larry Ellison is his kind of fucking dude. Like, he's a billionaire, runs a giant company, friends with the president, like, right in line with their stuff. But at the same time, maggots don't trust him. Why? Because he's a Jew and they don't know much about him. So that's all you need. That's the recipe. It's the perfect recipe. He's a Jew I don't know much about. So therefore, eyes wide shut, right? They're going to do that, all right? Whether he does or not. Whether he's just a run-of-the-mill prickish CEO or he eventually, decides he wants to cure malaria like Bill Gates does, doesn't matter, right? It's immaterial. Because they will fill those gaps in not only their ignorance about everything, but yeah, big money Jews all they need. That's enough. Like, oh God, you know how that happened, right? So he's in a rough spot with this because at the one point, every time, am I in the CIA? No, I mean I kind of would like to be, I guess, but I don't know they would ask me. I'm a little loud, don't you think? For real. But that's the weird thing about the CIA, isn't it? Isn't there who's that dipshit CIA agent that's all over YouTube? You know what I'm talking about? Agent tells secret to whatever. I don't know, like the fucking you type that in, what's his name? Andrew Bustamante. This dude. This guy's on all these shows as like the ex-CIA guy. I'll show you him. You've probably seen him, whatever. This dude who looks like a roadie for Rage Against the Machine. That guy. All right. There's two weird things. One is there's a line I put up the other day about Vladimir Putin where he said there is no such thing as an ex-KGB agent, right? And right, and so yeah, I am a little too loud. There's no such thing as an ex-CIA agent or KGB agent, and then it says underneath it, Vladimir Putin, former KGB agent, right? And so there's an element of like, if this guy's CIA or was CIA, why would I? He's like, they have perfect ways of tricking you into thinking one thing when they want to think you to think the other. And I'm like, he's not a whistleblower. No. He's like selling a self-help program. It's like a Navy SEAL telling you how to work out. It's just the brain and manipulation version of that, whatever. But again, like, why would I trust him? You never seen him, Kelly? He's all over YouTube. Like, there was a big spike for a while, and it's leveled out. But he's got his own show. He's got 500,000. He's got 646,000 subscribers. By the way, subscribe, will you? I need some help here. He has a porn stash, right? But that's the point. Like, if you're ex-CIA and you're saying they have ways of manipulating, then like, I'm not going to believe you at all now. Unless that's what you want me not to do. Anyways, it's stupid. So the point being is that it's perfect for bullshit paranoia. Which brings us to bullshit paranoia. Now, I want to see a little bit of this. I have not watched any of it. It's relatively short. But you have to understand, again, Larry Ellison, friend of Trump.
When you think about a power player in media, who do you think about? You may say, well, maybe the Murdochs.
No, I don't. That's mostly fake news.
News Corp, they're all Fox. Well,
that would be the same group.
Wall Street, or maybe Reed Hastings, Netflix. Maybe a little bit of...
No, that's just one guy in one company.
Bezos, maybe Musk. Do you know a power player is quietly coming up that 2 years ago nobody was talking about? It was a small little company called Skydance, $1 billion in top line revenue, maybe $100 million in...
Yeah, what was the company that did all the videos for a long time? Viacom. Viacom was this company that was literally, they made their money, they were they copied VHS tapes. Like, they literally were the ones that for all the studios, they printed the VHS tapes if you bought one for stuff. And so Viacom became the manufacturing hub for VHS, like for consumer available VHS or whatever. That's how Viacom became big. That was the start. Netflix started with, mailing people DVDs. And then, you know what the trick was? You know how they became huge? How they went from nothing to something? They let you keep them. It was a subscription thing. So instead of like ordering one and then you have to mail it back or you'll pay a late fee, nobody wanted to do that. But they're like, pick 3 movies, send them back when you want, and we'll send you a new one. They didn't give a shit because they didn't lose anything from it. It was just part of your subscription. If you kept that movie for a year, it was just part of your subscription for that. You had an incentive to send them back to get a new movie. So they guaranteed their business model. It went from like $1 million to $50 million in like a year. Because that was the trick. It was like the same trick that they did with Alka-Seltzer. You only need one Alka-Seltzer for it to work. But they were like, we could double our sales, literally, if we create packs of 2 and sell them in these little tear packs. Because we sell them in 2 tear packs. Making a 1 tear pack doesn't make any sense, and it looks like a condom. So 2 of them is fine. So you tear off, you drop 1 in, right? And then you keep the other one for later. Like, why bother? They'll just use both of them, and then they'll take 2 more. And we can sell them for a little bit more money, and it doesn't cost us anything. And so plop, plop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is, came from the idea of we're going to sell 2 of them. So they doubled their business with 1 trick, okay? Right. So, yes, now Netflix is on the internet, but that's how they started.
But as what they had, yeah, they co-produced Top Gun, yeah, they co-produced Star Trek and a couple other movies, and then all of a sudden...
Yeah, a couple of basically billion-dollar movies. It wasn't all, these little things like Star Trek, these little things like Top Gun.
They buy Paramount for $8 billion. You know what Paramount owns, just to kind of give you an idea? Transformers. It owns...
Queer as Folk.
Pluto, BET, Comedy Central, Nickelodeon. It owns CBS News, Free Press, CSI, The Godfather, Mission Impossible, and
Queer as folk.
CIS. And then gradually, these guys make an offer to buy Time Warner. What? Yeah. And it's going to get approved. Who are these guys? Wait till you hear who we're still about to own.
Well, sorry, the people who would stop this kind of, media conglomerate monopoly thing are for it. If you're bitching about this, I got news for you. This asshole has Trump's cell phone number.
Here's Time Warner, by the way. They're going to own Discovery. They're going to own HBO. They're going to own HGTV, TBS, TNT, TLC, CNN, DC Comics, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. And on top of that, guess who else they're about to own? TikTok.
Yeah, that's the deal he signed with that Trump is trying to set up and about to own, by the way.
You know who we're talking about that? We're talking about Larry Ellison's son named David Ellison. That's who we're going to talk about today.
The Ellison takeover.
If you value added this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let's get right into it. Larry Ellison. Do you know what Larry Ellison is worth? He's worth $365 billion. You know how much his net worth has increased just this year? Almost $150 billion.
Huh. That's weird. And it happened almost entirely right after, how old is this? 9 hours. This video, he posted this 9 hours ago. And for the record, this 150 billion happened essentially after Elon Musk was shown the door. He just moved in. He noticed that other people were moving in, and he was just like, I can scoop in, I can golf with this fucker.
Just in 2025. So naturally, if he's got a son, his son's gonna be ambitious. So he's like, hey son, you wanna do something? Run a business. Hey dad, I took Skydance from 0 to $1 billion with $100 million EBITDA. I think we can do more. Let's go buy Paramount. Let's go buy Time Warner. Let's go buy TikTok. A lot's been going on. And this happened, Skydance, in 2010 when they first formed. And then they bought Paramount last year, $8 billion. We talked about it earlier. And then now they're talking about,
yes, 15 years later, but still.
Warner Brothers at $20 a share could be worth tens of billions of dollars, depending on them picking it up or not. I don't think anyone's going to stop him, to be honest with you, because he's been a friendly player with the White House.
Yeah, that's what. I don't think anybody's going to stop him because he's been a friendly player with the White House. Here's the thing, asshole. Are you against it? Because this is what you supported. This is what this asshole asked for in the White House.
Probably going to prove it. So now you got Skydance, they buy Paramount, they buy Time Warner, and then you get TikTok? You tell me who has that. Elon's got X, massive. He doesn't have a CNN. He doesn't have a TikTok. He doesn't have, this is a very, and by the way, craziest thing is, whenever
What's the craziest thing?
Whenever they ever talk about who Elon Musk's mentor is that he goes to for advice, you know whose name comes up? Larry Ellison. Where Elon's like, look.
Yeah, well, how's the fresh knife wound in your back?
I'm going to be buying up, Tesla. You may want to put some money into it. He's like, how much money do you think I should put into it? Maybe I'll give you $1 billion. He said, well, listen, it's not like I need any money, but I would put 2 instead of 1. Ellison's like, no problem, I'll put $2 billion into Tesla. They have a very, very good relationship. At one point when Elon was going through challenges.
Well, when you talk about billions, like it's 100K or something like that, and you're a millionaire, this is not a close friend. This is like, okay, this is worth a bet. He didn't just go on like, Elon said, if you're going to put in 1, I'd put in 2. His people did due diligence, right? They own a piece of this.
He got on his jet and he went to Larry Ellison's place, I think in Hawaii, one of the islands he owns, just to have a meeting with them. And then he came back and he says, hey.
That's where his bunker is. Do you know that I think Jeff Zuckerberg owns a mansion, of course, in Hawaii, but underneath it is I want to say like a $260 million bunker. Like a super survival bunker. Just for the record.
I mean, not want to be.
Is he jealous? Yes, he's jealous.
too strong in your relationship with Apple because you need Apple. You're being a little too tough on Apple. That's a company you need because your app is on Apple. So very, very smart businessman. He owns 41% of Oracle. Now his son is becoming a big power player, but
Yeah, as anybody would with what? How much? $30 billion of his dad's money to play with? For real?
at the end of the day, we may not have anybody in the world like this right now. Reed Hastings, he owns Netflix. He's the leader of Netflix, biggest shareholder, but he doesn't have a social media play. These guys now do with TikTok. All right, so you may say, well, Pat, I mean, I know maybe you're building this too much.
No, you're not. It's a total threat.
What's their actual revenue? All right, let's talk about it. So check this out. Netflix's revenue this year is guesstimated to be around 45 billion in 25. Disney is roughly 93, 94 billion in 25. If you take Skydance, which is $1 billion, with Paramount, with Time Warner, and you combine TikTok, you know what you get? Ready? $93 billion in revenue.
Wait a minute. If they all work together, if you own, wait a minute, you have to own all four of those fucking things, run them separately, and they have to be successful, and you're still not making what Disney makes? Disney doesn't have to run a fucking social media platform. They're a movie and amusement company. I know, I used to work for them as a Disney dad. Hello, Lab Rats fans. And?
Overnight.
No, not overnight. You still have to make them work. And they'll be folded into each other. That's how you collapse half these things, dummy.
2 times as big as Netflix, same size as Disney overnight. That's Skydance for you. And keep this in mind, the average person is going to look at it and say, oh, they're going to be a media company. No, Larry is Oracle. He owns 41%. They're going to be using the information they have of Paramount and Warner Brothers to get the global subscriber data, what they can do with the ad inventory, the IP. Imagine.
Sorry, do you think that the rest of these companies don't do this?
And how that's going to be used. And then the US government, when they chose the buyers for TikTok, 80% of TikTok.
Sorry, the US government? Was there a bill passed in Congress to see who gets to own TikTok? It was decided like over fucking dinner at Mar-a-Lago, you asshat.
It's going to be sold. They're allowing ByteDance to keep 20% of it as a minority, but 80%, one of the main ones.
20%, that's all you need. That's what we call a backdoor in the business,
Moon River.
It's going to be Oracle, and check this out. Oracle's role stores all US TikTok user data on its servers, oversees TikTok's recommendation algorithm under license.
Under license. So they pay a fee for its existence, the entirety of it. Real quick. What do you think it'll take a company in 2027 to come up with an algorithm that's the next TikTok algorithm, but is 100% here and doesn't require paying China a fee? Whether it's Snapchat or somebody decides to bring back fucking Vine or YouTube falls into it and they decide, okay, we've got our own algorithm that, that keeps people locked and all that kind of stuff. It's equal to, but less damaging, say, than the TikTok thing, but we don't steal your data and we could just say this. Also, TikTok is malware, get it off your phone. But the idea that, like, you're going to pay a 20% fee to the Chinese for Communist Party, by the way. ByteDance, that money is just shoveled right into there. So this whole idea of, like, everybody on TikTok is funding the Chinese military if you listen to fucking Josh Hawley, I guess. But how? It'll be super fucking easy. That's the thing about software. It's all software. And if you're going to license it, that means you don't get to look at how it's run, but how hard will it be for somebody to fucking figure it out and wipe it out in a little bit? It makes no sense. Like, here's what I hope for TikTok. I hope the sale goes through and then everyone stops using it all at once. Like, that would be fucking awesome.
Holds a major equity stake in the new joint venture, and you know what they're buying it for? You look at what Facebook is worth. So Facebook is worth roughly $1.8 trillion. You know what they're buying TikTok for? $14 billion. An absolute...
They're not buying it for that. They're licensing it. And he's not buying it for 14 billion. He's buying into it for 14 billion. Other people are kicking in too. It's just, I mean, Jesus Christ. X is partly owned by Sean Diddy Combs. Sean Combs is making money off of everyone who uses shitter right now. Like, when he gets out, he'll still have after he gets out of jail, he'll still have a revenue stream because of shitter. Like that, while he's in jail, that's just fucking cranking away, and that money will just stack till he gets out.
Discount is what
Yes, it's like buying stock in fentanyl. Exactly.
they're getting it at. Talk about a flywheel of everything feeding each other. This is essentially the ultimate flywheel. Give me a better comp. Tell me one company that has influence now with movies, production, their own
Movies production, the production of movies about production, the production of a movie about, like, on TikTok in 2 minutes chunks.
OTT, and on top of that, one of the biggest social media companies that goes viral, that has data of people around the world. Who has that? Nobody has that today.
Facebook has it. Fucking Shitter has a bunch of stuff. Like the Mastodon architecture has access to a ton of that stuff. Holy shit! YouTube and Google. Gee, I don't know who has consumer data. There's a big company starts with an A.
They may overnight be.
By the way, Amazon is outpacing what is effectively Tesla long term through better diversification. It's so stupid. Like they've got rockets, and they've got data, and they've got, like, the AWS crash showed that even Oracle relies on Amazon. Fucking hell. Derp.
The biggest power player in media. Now, some of the people that are watching this, maybe you're technically like, no, Skydance didn't buy TikTok. It was Oracle. It's father and son. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure. Yeah, I understand they're related. Yeah.
father
It's father's money.
runs Oracle, who is acquiring TikTok. Skydance's son. When the father is no longer around, you know how old Larry Ellison is? He is 81 years old. He looks good. I actually think he's going to go to
Oh God, he looks like, Jesus Christ, he looks like a deflated balloon. And by the way, he's planning on living to be 150.
100, right? So say 19 more years. He goes to 100. Who's David going to be 19 years from now?
Who's anybody gonna be 19 years from now, you dipshit? With, like, AI and automation, you think it, like, having a conglomerate of literally the only thing that will be valuable from any of these companies is the old IPs, is the fact that they own Harry Potter and they can repurpose it for fucking 2-second TikTok videos.
Damn. Talk about a real. David's going to be a trillionaire overnight, if you think about it. Because
Yeah, I'm not gonna think about it. Maybe. Did I think about it? I did think about it. I'm not gonna think about it anymore.
Larry's going to be a trillionaire in the next couple of years, the direction they're going. And now when
Couple decades.
you think about the partnership they're creating, where now Oracle invests into NVIDIA, NVIDIA invests into OpenAI, OpenAI invests.
Yeah, that's it. That's how the money goes back, and then all the money goes right back into Oracle's pocket. $20 leaves here, goes to here, and then that $20 goes to here, and then those $20 go right back to here. Now, I think he believes that it's a spiral upward, that this 20 turns into 30, turns into 40, comes back, and then that 40 turns into 50, turns into 60, because right, that's the theory anyways. Except one of these companies is putting itself out of business. All AI companies are putting themselves out of business. That's their ultimate goal. They will be ubiquitous, open source, and the only thing that anyone will need them for is giant data services, which is why Oracle thinks it's going to run shit, because you're going to need these giant servers for the giant shit, but you're absolutely not. It's like it was a model that came out the other day that's as good as ChatGPT 3, that's 7 megabytes. That uses less power than your phone for an hour. It's nuts. Does anybody think, like, the speed of this shit's going, that it's going to be the same in 2 years, much less 20? You think in 19 years, that's how, like, wealth is going to be determined? These fuckers are going to be in bunkers.
Into Oracle, the ultimate flywheel of them helping each other out.
Hey, he printed it on paper. Who am I to argue?
There are some incredible people say, I created a partnership with the local real estate office. I created a partnership with OpenAI and NVIDIA. That's Oracle.
Yeah, but I mean, billion-dollar companies do that a lot. They have forever. Remember Ma Bell? Remember, how about U.S. Steel? How about that? How about the big three car companies? Right? Imagine talking about this in terms of like 1957 to 1965. Going like, I'm partnering with one of the big car companies, right? What happened 30 years later, 40 years later?
Pay very close
The stock price of Ford is what, $9?
attention to these guys. It's
Oh, Rob Glenn is here. Hey, Rob.
going to be very, very interesting what happens, but based on what it looks like, if they sell none of their assets the next 20, 30 years, anybody...
Yes, no one's going to sell any of their assets in the next 20 or 30 years. Yeah, you know what? If you could say anything about our current state of affairs, it's the static nature of technology and economics. Fuck me.
that becomes president, anybody, before they even run for president. Hi, may I meet with Larry, please? And David? Why is that? I'm thinking about being the next president of the United States. Get in line. We got 62 other people that want to meet with us. Maybe we can meet with you end of the year. That's what's about to happen.
Which is, awesome? What are you trying to do? Get him as a guest on the fucking show? Jesus Christ.
With those guys. They're officially #1 power players. The way that it's look like, once all these deals get closed. Okay, so if you got value out of this video, give it.
Jesus Christ. Ugh. Just the stupidity. The idea, like, we've seen, like, media conglomerations, like, join together. I mean, where the fuck is MGM? Where's fucking Orion? All the media companies that get sucked up into something else. And there's, like, having a bunch of fucking channels is not having a fucking media empire. Like, congratulations if you have HGTV and TLC at the same time. It doesn't take much to compete with that. It just doesn't. It doesn't take $500 billion anymore. It used to. That used to be a big fucking deal. If you were one of the 3 newspapers in the country trying to be a 4th, you were fucked. None of that applies now. Ugh. And and again, 41%, he's 41% owner of Oracle. That means it's a publicly traded company. That means it can come and go in its value based on its competition. That's why it's investing in these other things. Stupid. It has to. It's not doing it because it's awesome. It's doing it out of survival. It's trying to buy its way into a limited number of processors. You invest in NVIDIA because they need to produce these things. You know what he did? You know what fucking investing in NVIDIA is? You're pre-ordering chips. They can't keep up with production. That's all you're doing. And then OpenAI is using some of Oracle servers, but it's using a ton of them. Holy shit. Yeah, he's not invested in NVIDIA, so that's why he's pissed. He's and he would have never bought Oracle because it's fucking, like, it's thought of largely as, like, database software. The Switch guys here in Vegas are expanding hand over fist. Most people don't even know their fucking name. And they're doing the same thing Oracle's doing, but they're just doing it on their growth scale is you can buy in smaller because they're not that big a company and they're blowing up. They're expanding all down the fucking freeway here, building these like half underground vented data center sites. They're crazy. They look like fucking, hold on, let me see if I can show you a picture of it. They look like space stations. Switch facility, Las Vegas. See if I can get a picture of it. Images. Yeah, these guys. These fucking the Switch Core campus like they're opening another one like every 3 or 4 months at this point. Look at this fucking thing. You know what that is? These are heat vents. Because the fucking servers are so hot. And one of the reasons why it's good, you can build them here in Vegas or you can build them in like Arizona, is because the fucking heat that comes out of these things isn't going to cook the shrubbery, because there isn't any, because it's already 120 degrees here, 6 months of the year. So, like, god damn. Look, is it a problem that certain people are buying up media companies and consolidating them? That's always a problem. Is it a guarantee that they're going to be in control of shit in 2 years, much less 10 years? No. Lord almighty. Okay, so, but, again, that's his buddy. That's Trump's friend. Okay, now, where's my other conspiracy? Okay, here's the other one. Let's go to... I'm always looking for the... Now, I guess you have to know this. Hold on one second. Let's see. Gold prices dive. Whoops, sorry. Dive. It was a typo, dummy. Yeah. Gold prices plunged on October 21st, recording the steepest one-day drop in over a decade, driven by investors booking profits after a historic rally and renewed optimism over potential trade deals between the U.S. and China, but also faded. Magnitude of the drop. Gold prices fell 6.3%. Silver dropped 8.7% in a day. Because everybody thinks it's an inflated price because of fucking prepper morons. Meanwhile, this explains everything. Donald Trump's making everything gold. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the value of a pretty rock. This is real money. When we're all living in the Book of Eli, you'll really want a shiny coin as proof of monetary value, so that you can melt it down and make it into a crown as you have control your mini kingdom of I don't know, trailer parks, whatever the fuck, in your Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome future. You could trade gold coins for pig carcasses. This explains everything. Well, please explain everything, Glenn Beck.
Before I start this on gold, I want to ask you...
do I really think you're going to try and sell gold? Do you have your gold selling asshole who comes on your show every so often, like all these other ones do? Whenever you start bringing it up, you always kind of dovetail to like, I've got an expert who works for Pioneer Gold. Patriot Gold is on with us today.
What is Donald Trump? Is Donald Trump a guy who likes to cut the spending? No. He believes in debt, right? But what he believes in more than debt is growing the bottom line.
Well, he has to pay the debt, dipshit.
So you
can't. I mean, yeah, you would. The idea would be, in theory, in business, you take out some debt and you build on that, and then you repay the debt with your increased bottom line. In theory,
grow your way out of things. So keep that in mind as I'm trying to make sense of gold. And what I'm going to share with you is just a theory. I think I might be right on this, but I don't know.
Which is basically the theme of this entire fucking network. The Blase's whole thing is, I think, but I don't know. And I'm probably wrong, but we'll see.
Okay. Gold is rocketing.
Well, This posted an hour ago. Not so much. Gold price plunged October 21st by its steepest amount since. And again, because it's an attitude commodity, it's not based on anything.
No, it's now almost, what is it, $4,300 or $4,400 an ounce today.
Well, yeah, because some dickhead is using it to, like, wallpaper the White House.
And I've always told you, you don't want to see a world with $5,000 an ounce gold. That is, when $5,000 an ounce happens, that means the trust is going away for the financial system and the financial markets.
Right. Yes. So that's why the price of gold was going down by and large during Biden, except during little spikes where maggots would buy a shit ton of it because of assholes that guest on his show and other people's shows where they're convinced you're like, gold is real, buddy. You want to get your gold and it's real. It's your real buddy.
The dollar.
Here we've got Bob Menendez coming out here to tell you
is starting to weaken, and the world is sending a signal. We don't trust any of this anymore. Now that may be true. That may.
Why would that be? Could it be because Trump is intentionally gutting the dollar by taking on way more debt, that he's not bringing the debt down at all? He ran with all these other maggots on the idea that we have an insurmountable amount of debt, and then he comes in and raises the debt ceiling $5 trillion in one fucking bill, so he never has to ask again, and then he raises the Pentagon budget to $1 trillion, and he's just fucking borrowing like fucking crazy. He's leveraging the $5 trillion with other money. He's Armando Montalongoing the real estate guy who created the fucking domino effect almost single-handedly that led to 2008 amongst all these people, like, buy a house and then take out an equity loan on that house and use it to buy another house and then do the same thing to that one and the same thing to that one. As long as you never miss a payment, you're good. And then you can't rent one of them and the whole thing falls apart. Right. That's what he's doing with the $5 trillion wiggle room he has. Where the fuck do you think we got $40 billion to send to Argentina?
Maybe true. But let me take you to another place, because maybe something that
Dipshit Island
is happening that doesn't fit that script, because you're dealing with something new. You're dealing with Donald Trump.
Yeah, something new. Yep. Yeah, he's got all brand new ideas. All of it. Yeah. That whole king of debt thing that he still sticks to and is still living out and still playing out, and his ideas haven't fucking changed. They've just gotten darker and more fucked up.
So I think behind all of it.
What do you have written on the paper? What thoughts do you have written on the paper, Glenn?
There is a new strategy that is taking shape in Washington.
Okay. It's strategy.
Congress, doesn't have the stomach to cut any of the spending. And Donald Trump believes the opposite. Grow your way out, okay?
Which means he's not cutting either. That's the other reason he showed Elon Musk the door, is because red states use a lot more government spending and need more government spending than blue states do, and those are the people that were bitching at him.
So that's a recipe for deficit that is really quite frightening. But there is someone, and I think it's Bessent, who is finding a way to pull down the deficit without the usual political bloodshed.
Which would mean that gold should be coming down, should be about 3,000 an ounce, maybe.
One of the misunderstood tools in that strategy is something that you're going to be amazed that it hasn't happened before. It is the revaluation of gold. Right now, the government value.
Wait a minute. Is he making an argument that Bessent's going to rug pull everybody?
Use its gold reserves. We have 260 million troy ounces. That's what they say officially. We might have none. But we have 200.
Sorry. Okay, so Trump might be lying so much about the gold we have in reserve that there isn't any. Yeah, it's totally a gold commercial. Absolutely gold duck soup. I completely agree. It's going to be. That's where this is going to round up. I just fucking know.
And 60 million troy ounces. But we only value it at $35 an ounce. Why? Because that's the price FDR in the 1930s set gold at and said it's worth $35 an ounce. That hasn't changed. So on paper, that means the government, all of our gold that we have on paper, the whole gold hoard, is only worth $9 billion. So wait a minute. But the market price today is almost $4,500, which would make that $9 billion actually worth $1.1 trillion. Now think about that.
Yeah, that's almost a year's worth of spending. Almost. Except Trump is actually run up the deficit by 360 billion so far. So it's what 1.8.
The United States is sitting on $1 trillion asset, and we don't even count it.
Well, it's not an asset. It's a fucking pretty rock. I got to tell you. Like, unless we're going to use it like a rare earth mineral of some sort, I like. And by the way, isn't that the smart thing to do? Keep it low, and so you'll never sell it till the price goes fucking crazy. Is that the idea? Is you're going to sell a bunch of it at 4,500 an ounce, and then because there's so much of it, and then watch it crash the price and buy it back? Well, I mean, it worked with Biden and oil.
Why does this matter? I want you to think of your home.
It's pleasant. It's different than your house. Think of your home. I mean, the house is nice, but I always think when I picture a home, I picture it sort of like one of those places where the hobbits lived in the side of a hill.
Imagine you're going into a bank and you want to go buy a car.
Am I bringing my home with me? Is the bank in my home? Okay.
Okay. And you have your salary and you're in debt.
I'm carrying my salary. Well, that shouldn't be too hard.
And you're just barely.
'Cause I don't have a salary. I work for you guys right now, so I'm here by your good graces. Thanks, Super Chatters.
Making it. But
And everything's a tip now, I think, so fire away.
your home on paper has only been valued at $5,000 because when your parents bought it all those years ago, it was $5,000.
Yeah, that's not how it works at all. That would never be how it works. They're never going to go, how much did your parents pay for this house? You've been living in it a long time? Yeah, it's probably still worth that.
You know, and now you're sitting here and it hasn't changed in value. It has in reality, but you're still counting it as the bank and saying, yeah, well, my grandfather or my father paid $5,000 for this, and so it's worth $5,000.
No one would ever do that. What the fuck are you talking about? Who is the viewer of the blasé that walks in with snot coming out of their ears because their brain is made entirely of mucus at this point, that thinks or approaches anything like this? But please go on.
You know, the bank would know, no, it's not. It's worth $1 million today. What changes if this is called mark to market? This is a usual thing. You mark the price to what the market value is. Mm-hmm. Your price of your house goes down. You are poorer on paper because the value.
Oh, let me explain this to you. This is a little different. My home is a terrible example. Your home is a terrible example. How about this? How about Mar-a-Lago? It's a great example you brought up, Glenn. Thanks so much. So you buy Mar-a-Lago, but the rules are such that you cannot turn it into anything else other than an event space. No one can live there. It cannot be a home, and it cannot be, because it's a historical place, knocked down. So when you go to the bank and say the building next door down the street is worth $1 billion now because you can build an apartment complex on top of it, so the property is worth that. I want the same for my place. They go, fuck you, because Mar-a-Lago is and can only be sold at this amount because it can never be turned into anything else. That's where the mark-to-market thing is totally fucked up. That's why Trump was full of shit when he was saying that it's worth $1.5 billion or some nonsense, because other buildings in the area are worth $1.5 billion, but they don't have rules set around the purchase that keeps you from doing anything with the property. Asshole.
Value of your house has gone down and it's marked to market. If the price has gone from $35 an ounce to $4,500 an ounce, then you mark to market and everything changes. Suddenly, if that's your house, $5,000 to $1 million, now you can buy that new car. You walk into the bank and you're like, I'm going to buy a $50,000 car. And they're like, well, let me see your assets. And you're like, oh, well, you have a house that's been paid off and it's worth $1 million. Where yesterday it was worth $5,000. Today it's worth $1 million because it's actually worth that if you sold it. And so the bank goes like, oh, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, sure. Here's 50 grand. Go buy that car. Suddenly your profile looks different overnight. Okay.
No, it doesn't. It always looked like that. You didn't walk into the bank going, my dad built this house with his bare hands. It was a log cabin. We've changed it a little bit. We have a trailer parked on the property now, but it was worth $5,000. Is there any possible way I would really like to buy this Pinto, even though it's on fire, for $6,000? And I know I'm asking a lot, but you're like, actually, it's the trailer's, it's in Malibu. It's the old Rockford Files trailer, and you own the property. That's worth about $16 million. It is? I never even thought about it that way.
That is what I believe is coming in America. I believe they're going to revalue gold.
So? Fuck difference does it make? It's still not. It's not anywhere. Our national debt's like $36 trillion. It'll be 40 by the time Trump leaves. Easy. It'd probably be closer to 42, which is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. So maybe there's something in that.
That without raising taxes, without cutting a single program, it would instantly improve the nation's balance sheet.
Oh my God. No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't change a fucking thing. It would be flim flam, dum dum. And nobody factors it like that. Okay, if you set the price at $35 back then, it doesn't mean that that's the price set forever. How do you think we acquired more gold? If the U.S. bought gold and put it in stores, we didn't go, well, we're only paying $35 an ounce for it in 1987.
Our debt to asset ratio would shift dramatically. Have you noticed in the last year, everybody's like, their debt to asset ratio is way out of whack, and they're now 125%, whatever it is. Okay, that would change.
No, it wouldn't. It would basically zero out the extra spending from this year, which is still too much and going to keep going up. What the fuck are you talking about?
The dollar would legitimately appear to be stronger, and
oh God,
the deficit, at least on paper, would
at least on paper. That's adorable.
Shrink.
Oh, so he could just lie about how much he's spending. Because you're not going to borrow. You're still borrowing money to do it.
Now, add to that, again, what Donald Trump believes, and
that women are playthings, even if they're as young as 12 years old, and that that it's okay to fantasize about sex with your daughter, and that being friends with Jeffrey Epstein, who would have known?
You may not agree with it, but
I don't. All those things and whatever the fuck you're talking about.
He believes I can grow the economy. So you combine that with the H-1B visa fees.
Then we're making money.
You do the tariffs expected, to bring in money, and then also the expected $8 to $12 trillion in foreign capital investments that are flowing into the United States.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They're talking about a 5 to 10 year game on these things. The numbers haven't changed at all. It's the regular numbers. They're like the biggest expenditures are in these data centers, which are being built based on like loan guarantees and grants given out during the Biden administration that Trump walked back initially and then quietly put back in.
If all of that is real,
it's not.
Suddenly, the
deficit, we can pretend the deficit doesn't exist.
The picture doesn't look quite so desperate because
it doesn't look. It is. But it doesn't look that way. You know how a mirage looks like a river. And if you're thirsty...
It looks like we are growing again, and
It looks like we're growing. Fuck you. Can you imagine? Can you fucking imagine if fucking somebody on MSNBC was talking about the Biden economy like this? If we just revalue gold, then we're still borrowing the same amount of money, but it doesn't look like we are. Fuck you.
Actually would be growing again. The debt doesn't shrink by cutting. It shrinks by growing. It shrinks by growing the economy and expanding the
Yeah, but you have to do it for real. You can't pretend it's growing, you dickhead.
economy beneath it. That
Glenn's found the answer. Pretend growth. Let's just fake it.
Trump's mark. That's always what he's believed in.
Yes. Fake numbers. Lying to the banks. That's what he's talking about. That's what this is. Like, wait a minute. Maybe Trump, because, he was convicted of multiple counts of fraud, but maybe if he could do that same fraud thing that he did that allowed him to fucking bullshit everybody during The Apprentice to make them think he's a good businessman. And then how about this? How about Bessent, instead of releasing like a quarterly report on the health of the economy or something like that from the Treasury, they just release their own version of Art of the Deal and tell everybody it's awesome. You can even get somebody to ghostwrite it.
So while I've been sitting here going, you don't want $5,000 of gold. You don't, but it
Unless you're creating a Ponzi scheme.
also might be a good thing. Let me give
Jesus Christ. No, it's not. No, it's not. It literally would be, you're explaining, oh, fuck me. You're explaining an emergency. You're explaining like, okay, shit, if no one trusts anything and the fucking economy is headed towards massive collapse, at least we could revalue gold based on that number and pretend we're doing all right as everybody else crashes, and we crash right along with them.
this. There's more. Washington is floating the idea, and Mike Lee.
Oh, Washington is? Sorry, Washington is. They all got together. Did Muriel Bowser call a group meeting? Did they meet over by the reflecting pool and gather around the fucking George Washington phallus?
He got hammered for this, but this is a Bessent idea. Mike Lee is floating the idea of selling off portions of vast federal portfolio. We have all this land. These are not national parks. We have millions of acres of unproductive and unused territory.
Yes, and the only thing it does is sit on top of our aquifers where all our fresh water comes from in the middle states. If you don't have a Great Lake, welcome to being completely fucked. Thanks, Mike Lee.
I have known this from central bankers for 20 years that
Sorry, you hang out with central bankers?
they actually have said, we should sell the national parks. You know how much the national parks. I don't want you selling the national parks. What are you talking about? No, we're not selling the national parks.
He means selling the national parks.
But that's not what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about.
They're talking about cutting the
He's talking about selling grazing land to the Bundys.
inefficiency out of every department and taking land that is unusable and sellable.
Why would it be sellable if it's unusable? Sorry. It can't be used. What is it? In the middle of a fucking volcano?
That the government is holding and doesn't need to
Just to be a dick?
hold, selling that land, okay,
To someone who will do what?
which would allow us to build more houses,
I thought it was unusable.
expand, et cetera,
Expanding, yes, expand, blah, 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 et cetera, Yeah.
and increase the bottom line on the ballot sheet.
Jesus Christ. So a fire sale is what you're talking about.
Suddenly, with all of this, the pressure valves are opened up, okay? Also put in here, nobody seems to be panicking about the government shutdown. And what is the government shutdown doing? What is Bessent hoping?
That they can keep doing what they're doing as long as possible without the Epstein files coming out, because once it finally does, Trump is fucked and his people will run for the hills and they'll lose every election and they know it.
He gets an opportunity to do. Cut. So now you're expanding with gold.
Why would Bessent be in charge of cutting? What the fuck are you talking about?
The possibility of selling federal land at some point.
At some point.
You're bringing in $12 trillion of investment.
No, you're not.
You're getting the raw earth minerals from Venezuela and
The raw earth minerals? Oh, those are the ones that have more fiber in them, right? They're like brown rice. The raw earth minerals?
And from
rare, I think is what he means. Which, by the way, they're not rare at all. They're just spread out in the soil, in certain areas, and the processing of it churns up a lot of fucking land. And we use so much of our land that we don't want to churn it all up and turn it into a toxic waste site.
South America and elsewhere in the world, you've solved our military peace problem. We're no longer the world's policemen, so we're not.
Yeah, we are. What the fuck are you talking about? Trump's talking about us taking whatever, like going back into Afghanistan, taking Bagram back. He says we're going to be part of the fighting force that's going to, demilitarize Hamas now.
Having to do all of that stuff, which is a drain on blood and treasure.
Okay. Literally, there are like 3 red states that are kept afloat by the Ukraine war right now. That they've only survived post-COVID on the back of the fact that we are giving arms to Ukraine that they are supplying. That the U.S. taxpayer is paying money, it's going to these red states where they make these weapons and sending them to Ukraine. If that wasn't going on, they would have to go back to whatever their standard allotment is to the military, which is a lot less, which they are still providing, by the way.
All of a sudden,
Also, if we're no longer the policemen of the world, what the fuck do we need $1 trillion military budget for?
We're starting to see that America is actually shoring itself up.
Fuck, this is dumb. It's actually, if you think about it, like by shoving your own head up your ass and looking around, daytime can be dark.
So what looks like chaos right now may actually be a controlled implosion.
That's better. Yeah, I feel a lot better. I'm glad we hung in there. Fuck you. Okay, I'm done. goddamn. Can you imagine reaching up your own ass and fondling, just feeling around for something? And you're like, I think I got something. And then just yanking your own colon outside. So it looks like your prolapsed anus looks like a sea snake. And you're just standing there. What the ever-loving fuck? That is, I guess, I need a new award. We got to have the turd polishing award. And this year's Golden Turd Award goes to Glenn Beck for, the most ferocious, fierce, dizzying speed, the buffing, the shining, the wrist and elbow action that only comes from jerking off Donald Trump all the fucking time, to give you that kind of control and ability to polish a fucking turd that thoroughly. You can't even look at it. It's like looking into the Ark of the Covenant. It's just too bright. Your fucking brain couldn't handle staring at that polished turd as light glints off of it. Good fucking God. And the silver lining, kids. Let's look at the silver lining of Glenn Beck's fucking ramble about. Do you think he would even have to be having a conversation like this if his audience wasn't freaking out? Do you think he would have to manufacture this massive turd polishing operation if every one of his viewers wasn't going, prices haven't come down at the grocery store and it doesn't look like they're gonna, and we're buying beef from Argentina all of a sudden, and then they're selling soybeans so that we have to bail out our farmers again, and wait, what? And he's building a fucking ballroom with his own money while what? While eggs and beef and all these things are as expensive as they've ever been, and they're gonna keep going up. The prices have not come down, they're still rising at about 2.5% to 3% all the time, on top of what they already hit. You have to understand, his viewers, the people who are stupid enough to watch the blasé all the time, those motherfuckers are they must be getting wind of this shit. They must be. you cannot buy this shit for as long as these people are expected to buy it. It's just not possible. They still got to go to the grocery. They still got to, like, fill their car with gas and, like, well, gas is cheap, but everything in the fucking convenience store is 20% higher than it was. These assholes are chewing each other out, and it's showing up in his comment section. It's showing up in people calling in. It's showing up in people like the woman who called in and chewed Mike Johnson a new asshole, which, you know, he might enjoy, but it, you know, definitely will set off your porn app.
You using the whole fist, Doc?
They're getting it. They're waking up to it. It's taken way more fucking time than it should for them to catch on. But that whole segment is proof that they are, because he's having to go like, all right, how do I talk these people down? Right? I don't have to do that. And I'm not particularly excited about being right. I would rather have a President Harris and not have to worry about a bunch of this crazy dipshittery. The only thing we would have to worry about is our left flank freaking out, you know, the people who hardly ever, if ever, vote, but seem to command a lot of attention online, that want the system to collapse, so they're mad if any rules get applied to anybody equally and normally. They're just as imbalanced as the MAGA tree are. But that's a small price to pay for things actually working right. Yeah, the 90 million that couldn't be bothered to vote. This is what they voted for the record. The people who didn't vote, this is what they voted for. That because in an election like that, what you're saying is, I was about to say basically, not even basically, exactly what you are voting for by not voting for is Trump. You're saying, I don't care which way it goes, and therefore, whatever is worse, whatever the worst possible outcome is, fuck it, let that happen. Yes, that's right. Not voting is actually voting. It is, in the immortal words of, I think it was Neil Peart actually wrote the lyrics, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. This is what they chose. They chose to let this motherfucker cock up everything so badly that every, like, media supporter that he has is either turd polishing his fucking fake peace deal or his bullshit economic picture while all pretending to be in a private club in a walled off subdivision, or they are attacking him for being being an enabler of or a supporter of the people who facilitated Charlie Kirk's murder as a distraction from the Epstein files. I'm not kidding. That seems to be the two big splits right now in MAGA-dom. Maggot media is in two different directions, and you'll hear these little like, half erect, attempts to bitch about the No Kings rally. By the way, there were arrests for violence at the No Kings rally. They were all maggots who attacked people. There's like 20 of them nationwide. By the way, millions of people come out. 20 people get arrested in the whole fucking country. They're all maggots who attacked somebody at a fucking rally. All of them. All of them. And yet he's going to use the Insurrection Act against the people that were attacked and who are walking peacefully in fucking inflatable frog costumes and dressed as unicorns. Yeah, flaccid attempts. Yeah. They're like limp dick attempts at a power push. I'm trying to figure out a way to say this that's incendiary, but and gross, but not totally shocking. Sure. All right, this is him talking on Air Force One.
Okay. I had a good weekend. We
accomplished a lot. Really, very lot.
We accomplished a lot, a really very lot. A really very lot.
You probably just saw the piece on Steve and Jared. It was very good.
That he's talking about the 60-minute interview with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. And you know, obviously CBS has been bought and has a new, I guess she's the CEO. She's the main editor over there. So I'm guessing it was a puff piece.
60 minutes. Any questions? You want to give me a little room here, Jeff?
Just following up on the 60 minutes
Why?
story, what's your reaction to Israel's strikes on Gaza today?
Well, we're going to have to see what's happening.
What's your reaction to Israel's strikes on Gaza? Okay, there was fire from both sides. There's also other groups inside there that are fighting amongst themselves, both between them and Hamas, and that's not going to stop anytime soon, no matter what fucking document he signs with some assholes in Egypt. It's not going to change shit at all. It never was going to. This was all about, by the way, getting the hostages back so they could just move on to the obliteration phase 3. The only difference between, again, this deal and Biden's deal was 10 more months of bombing, and the only real accomplishment will be the 20 last hostages coming back and then more obliteration. That's how it's going to work out. Sorry. That's what, again, the people who didn't vote or voted for Trump or penciled in somebody else, this is what you voted for.
We want to make sure that it's going to be very peaceful with Hamas. As you know, they've been quite rambunctious.
They've been quite rambunctious. Rambunctious. Yeah, they're lining people up in the streets and shooting them in the heads while men, women, and children, locals, film it on their phones.
Doing some shooting, and we think maybe the leadership isn't involved. There are some rebels within, but either way, it's going to be handled properly.
It's going to be handled properly, which means what? What do you think that means? What do you think that means? I'll tell you what it means. It means nothing.
It's going to be handled toughly but properly.
Is the ceasefire still in place?
Yeah, it is.
Mr. President.
Is the ceasefire still in place? Real quick. Are Hamas fighters shooting at Israelis? Mm-hmm. And are Israelis shooting at Hamas people? Uh-huh. Then I would not call that a ceasefire. Just, technically. I'm sorry, yeah. That's my fault. I apologize. There should be a nut warning on this one. Where is it? My nut button got erased, so I have to rebuild it. I don't know why. It just went away. Grumble. But pardon me. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
On Colombia, Senator Graham.
The country of Colombia.
The country.
No. The goddess. The country of Colombia? No, Columbia TriStar, the fucking production company.
Colombia, Senator Graham tweeted that you would be imposing tariffs on the country either today or tomorrow. Can you give any details as to how much those tariffs might be?
Well, I
or what we can expect?
read the statement of Senator Graham, and it's correct. Yeah. I was with him today. We were working today, and I read his statement, and it's correct. Yeah.
But how much the tariff rate? Do you have a rate in mind?
I can't even grasp her, part of what her question is. But the idea is, I'll give you a statement tomorrow because he doesn't fucking know. He punts.
Tomorrow it will be announced?
Yeah.
Why is that child?
Jay Jones has repeatedly said that if he wins in Virginia, that he
Who said what?
Jay Jones in Virginia.
Jay Jones, you mean the one that wanted to kill somebody's children
yes,
and kill somebody? You mean the animal that wanted to kill somebody?
Yeah, he
who
said
should
he
not
can't
be
wait to
allowed
see
to be
you.
running for that office?
Yeah, he said he can't wait to see you in court.
Yeah. What about the Jan 6er that threatened to kill Hakeem Jeffries? How do you feel about that?
Give you the response, and if you're considering getting involved in that race.
Well, what is he saying?
He said in the debate on Thursday night that he can't wait to sue your administration and see you in court.
No, he's a third-rate intellect. He's a guy who I've never seen anybody say what he said. That he
Yes, you have. You actually, one of the Jan 6 people you pardoned said very similar things about Hakeem Jeffries. He was just arrested, and he's going to
wanted to kill his opponent's children. He wanted to kill his opponent. No, I can't imagine anybody voting for Jay Jones. drugs. Look, you would think he's totally discredited. I would think he wouldn't even be allowed to do that. Anybody would be put in prison for what he said. So he can join the long list of attorney generals.
Right. What she's asking you, asshole, is that in saying that he is threatening his opponent, who I believe is an elected official already, which is a federal crime. But he's not getting into it because I don't know why.
That have been suing and losing, but the people of this country want law, they want order, they want safety, they don't want to be mugged or raped or shot.
Right, and that's why we need a soldier on every street corner, and anybody looks at him cross-eyed gets a bullet, because that's it. Hey, you want safety and security, that's the price.
And that's what we provide. We have tremendous numbers also. You see the crime numbers are coming way down.
Right. Because they've been coming down, and like now you just start you start showing the real numbers, right?
Way down. Then you take a look
because you want to take credit for it. Yeah.
In a place like Washington D.C., which is now one of the safest cities in the country, it's one of the worst cities, most dangerous cities.
Nope, that would be like Bakersfield.
Moved out 1,700 career criminals and people that came here through Biden and his open border policy. And Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities, and Memphis is doing fantastically also. We went in there a week ago, and there's a bumpy flight.
Is it?
I say that otherwise they'll say, what's wrong with the president?
What? You don't think they can see it from the camera, asshole? You think everything's a fucking review? And you think, by the way, if it wasn't a bumpy flight, you would be saying anything that makes any sense to start with?
But Memphis is doing really well. I think that Chicago will do very well. We're going to
Chicago's doing well.
Go into San Francisco at some point in the not-too-distant future. Make that a great city again. It can only be a great city if it doesn't have crime.
It can only be a great city if it doesn't have crime. Okay, so I guess D.C. won't be a great city until you move out?
It has crime.
And then I guess Palm Beach is fucked?
It can't be a great city.
A question on Colombia. Are you concerned that if aid is cut to Colombia, that would undermine Colombia's fight against drugs? A lot of U.S. aid.
They don't have a fight against drugs. They make drugs. They refine drugs. They make cocaine. They have cocaine factories. They have no fight against drugs. And I'm stopping all payments to Colombia because they don't have anything to do with their fight against drugs. And in fact, even when they had better presidents than they have right now, that's how they're making a lot of money, drugs.
So the idea is that Colombia, apparently cocaine comes from there. This is fairly understood, I guess, now.
I used to complain about it when they had a very nice president, but he wasn't good. It was all talk. They are a drug manufacturing machine, Colombia.
Great. So I guess if that's the case, then they're all drug dealers and therefore terrorists, and therefore we're justified in invading the country and killing everybody, right? That's what he's leading up to in all of these all this talk. It's just like Colombia, Venezuela. This is the excuse for them to go in and clean up the leadership under the guise of terrorism using the authorized use of military force. He's just renaming what terrorism is so that they can attack these countries. The peace president, ladies and gentlemen.
And we're not going to be part of it. So we're going to drop all money that we're giving to them. It has nothing to do with them stopping drug production. And you look at the fields are loaded up with drugs, and
the fields are loaded up. Yes, they raise they grow the drug trees down there. I don't know if you've seen those little bottles of little vials. So there's beautiful forests, and it looks like it's like snowflakes, but it's actually little packets of cocaine just grow off them, and it's weird. I don't know how they grow the Ziploc bags, but
they find the drugs and they make tremendous amounts of cocaine, and they send it all.
And coffee
all over the world, and they destroy families. No, Colombia is out of control, and now they have the worst president they've ever had. He's a lunatic who's got a lot of problems, mental problems.
Okay, so he's crazy, and he's a drug dealer. Sorry, a drug leader. I don't know if you guys saw that, but in his little statement about him, he reversed those two letters and called him a drug leader, because dealer, leader, like leader.
Colombia, the Colombian president says that the U.S. killed a innocent Colombian fisherman in one of the strikes.
Yeah, they said that when we shot down a submarine that they were just fishing. This is a submarine. This was a submarine that was meant, by the way, this was a submarine that was meant for one reason and made for one reason, to carry massive amounts of drugs. Yeah,
he agrees with that, but that's not the right strike.
Yeah, they hit a boat. They're talking about the boat, not the submarine, the boat.
He's talking about a previous strike.
Mr. President, on the shutdown, do you want to see the premium tax credits extended if the Democrats vote to reopen the government?
Let me just tell you that there'll be no money given toward their crazy escalation of giving money to illegal aliens that came into the country totally illegally. I mean,
That would be the word, I guess.
Came in illegally. They want to spend 1.5 trillion with a T, trillion dollars, giving it to people that came into the country.
Nope. Again, look, use $300 billion or something like that. Focus on the one part of it. But the problem is, if you focus on the part of the 1.5 trillion that you think you're going to close the California loophole, and that they use a certain amount of it that goes to people, and they don't ask them whether or not they're here illegally or not, because that's how you prevent a spread of a pandemic. Focus on that part of it. The problem you can't. The reason you can't is because 1.5 trillion sounds like a big number, whereas 300 billion sounds like, well, reopen the fucking government. We're going to shut down the government over $300 billion. The deficit is 1.8. You rose the spending in every other area. Shut the fuck up, or close that loophole as part of it, and then allow the 1.5, the 1.2 trillion, let's say. And again, these are bullshit numbers from his end, to continue through, or give them the 1.5 trillion, but it can't be used to close the California loophole in the process. If that's the theory, the problem is it doesn't sound like it's a number worth fighting over. So he's got to jack it up this $1.5 trillion and make it up.
Illegally, they shouldn't have come in. In fact, one of the reasons they came in was to get this money.
Did they? I thought they were all insane and they were just here to stab people with fentanyl knives.
And California is a big culprit. I mean, California, they're out of control. And
he doesn't understand the California loophole. He can't explain it. So that's the argument that they were having, and he doesn't understand it. So he's just going to say that they just want to give all this money.
We're not going to pay California all of that money that they're giving away illegally. That's another thing. Between California and Colombia, there's not that much difference. We're not going to be
Really? Sorry, so everyone in California is a drug dealer now? Sorry, a drug leader.
making those payments.
Just to follow up to that, sorry, a July survey
Who
by
are you with, please?
the Washington Post. A July survey by your pollster, Tony Fabrizio, found that 72% of voters across political parties like the ACA tax credits. Are you worried that you might get blamed if you don't help get those through?
Well, we want to have great health care, so we'll do whatever we can do to have great health care.
Really? Well, then just pass this part of it. If you're going to do whatever you can do to have great... I don't know why I'm arguing this point. What am I thinking? I'm fucking bananas. That I think that this is actually a thought. Look at me. I was caught up actually thinking there was a real conversation here for a second.
But the Democrats want to destroy all health care because...
They want... Yes. It's been our dream for a long time. That's what the ACA was all about. That's why adding that's what Medicare for All ultimately is about too, is the destruction of all health care. We want to get people smoking again.
They want to give $1.5 trillion of this money, and they want additional money to go to people that came into our country illegally.
See, so the 1.5 trillion doesn't even sound like a big enough number to him now.
Many of them are from prisons and mental institutions, and we're not...
So they probably need mental health care, whatever. How expensive is mental health care?
Going to destroy our health care for the Democrats.
Mr. President, there were reports, and you even mentioned that.
By the way, that was just gibberish. Period.
Phone call.
Again, if he's doing everything he can to save healthcare, he's doing everything he can to give great healthcare, except having a healthcare plan.
With Prime Minister Modi, and that Modi had said his country would stop purchases of Russian oil.
Yeah, he's going to stop purchasing.
But India said that they were not aware.
Well, then they're going to just keep paying a lot of tariffs.
Did you have the phone
if they said
call,
that, but I don't believe they said that. No, I
Yeah, she's just making up quotes from the Prime Minister of India.
Spoke with Prime Minister Modi of India, and he said he's not going to be doing the Russian oil thing, so that's it.
He's not going to be doing the Russian oil thing anymore. It's not cool anymore, Daddy-o. He's not going to be doing the Russian oil thing.
But why would India say that they're not going to do?
I don't know, but if they want to say that, then they'll just continue to pay massive tariffs, and they don't want to do that.
Following up on...
Apparently they do, because the I mean, what exactly are they selling into the United States that's covered in a tariff at this point? For real. What is, I mean, tariffs clearly, I mean, the biggest thing probably economically that one-to-one, you're like your average medium-sized business probably involves themselves in with India is remote workers. Like virtual assistant work and shit like that, and fucking YouTube watch farms, which isn't tariffed.
Yeah, Friday you said you had a cordial meeting with President Zelensky. During that meeting, did you tell him he needed to cede all of the Donbass region to Russia?
No, we never discussed it. We think that
You never discussed it. Really? You never discussed Donbass? Okay.
what they should do is just stop at the lines where they are, the battle lines. You have a battle line right now. And the rest
Do you? Really? Think so?
is very tough to negotiate. If you're going to say, you take this, we take that, there's so many different permutations. So
Yeah, I know. Deal making is hard. I think somebody wrote a book about that. Maybe you should read it.
what I say is they should stop right now at the battle lines. Go home, stop killing people, and be done.
Brilliant. I don't know why nobody else thought of that. Nobody thought maybe stop fighting and go home. Huh? Shit. I mean, Blinken never brought that up. Just stop fighting and go home.
What do you think
Oh, the Ukrainians are like, this is our home. Oh shit. Right. God damn it.
should happen with the Donbass region?
Let it be cut the way it is. It's cut up right now. I think 78% of the land is already taken by Russia.
So you're just going to give them the rest of it? Give them a mulligan?
You leave it the way it is right now. They can negotiate something later on down the line. But I say
No, they can't. Here's what they can negotiate. They can negotiate waiting for another attack from Russia that you wouldn't do shit about either.
cut and stop at the battle line. Go home. Stop fighting. Stop killing people.
What do you think?
Sorry. You do realize that one of the parties could just go the fuck home and it would be over. Handy Girl, 78%, he means 78% of the Donbass area. In theory, that's what he. I don't know that he knows that. For all we know, he thinks they've taken 78% of the fucking country.
Of Mandami's photo with the 93 World Trade Center bombing.
By the way, he's just giving up. Like, he's just going bald and just saying, fuck it. It might be the moment of growth.
Yeah, no, it's a shame. Look, the Mandami thing is it's a disaster waiting to happen. We can't have a communist in charge of a great, supposedly free enterprise, kind of a representative city.
A great description of New York.
So I think it's, if you have a communist mayor, I think it's going to be very tough for him and for the city.
Do you think he should?
Yeah, I mean, even if he was a total fucking hunter, which he isn't. I think he's got, like, socialist tendencies, to be the most you could say of him. But even if he was a full-blown communist, it's not like the mayor of the city can just, like, executive order, a change in how the city runs anyways. It's just fucking stupid. And he isn't. But even if he was, they still have, like a city council and a borough system and, like, what the fuck?
Opposes something like this so close to the election?
Oh, I think it's a shame that that particular man is endorsing him and very friendly with him. You can see there's a relationship.
Mr. President,
He blew up the World Trade Center, right?
and Mr. President, sticking
Didn't the
with
man you're talking about blow up the World Trade Center? And he's friends with Mandami?
Mr. President, sticking with New York City, you've talked about
Yes, he got Osama bin Laden's endorsement.
the Hudson River Tunnel, the infrastructure project. So you said that the funding has been terminated, but folks in New York have said that it's not terminated. So where does that
Well, as of
stand?
now, it's terminated, and that's up to me. And as of now, it's terminated. And it's terminated because the
funding-
Democrats are so foolish what they've done to the country. I mean, we have the hottest country in the world. There's no country even close. And they just
There never was. There hasn't been since the fucking 50s, buddy.
want to do this. There's nothing for them to do.
How they want to say Mount Downey is brown, but it's too obvious, so they say communist. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We've had, like, Eric Adams is black, so I don't know that they're going there. I think this is about, if anything, partly because he's got what they think are socialist or communist views, but a lot of it's because he's Muslim.
All they have to do is just say, let everything continue. And And I will say a lot of Democrats want this to get over.
So the administration right now is not sending funding.
Right now, there is no funding because it's up to me.
What is your response to the protest?
It's not up to him, by the way.
Who are you with?
I'm with the AP.
With AP?
What's your response to the protests over the weekend, the No Kings protests on Saturday?
I think it's a joke. I looked at the people. They're not representative of this country.
Yeah. White people, by and large, older, the ones who vote. Me. Yeah, definitely not.
And I looked at all the brand new signs paid for. I guess it was paid for by Soros and other radical left lunatics.
Yeah, they were passing out magic markers.
It looks like it was.
Well, that's because you're stupid.
Checking it out.
By the way, anybody, chat room, anybody, I don't suspect anybody who was paid to go to the things would say anything, obviously. But if you went of your own free will and no one paid you to go, raise your hand. Give me a hand up in the chat, Just give me a hand icon or a me or a yeah. Because I don't get this push. They have to believe. I mean, it's a little. I guess they have to believe this. They have to tell themselves this. Because if they really confronted the fucking numbers, they'd be like, oh shit, that's a lot of people. That's record-setting numbers of people are turning out in the streets. And considering the number of people who voted for Harris, who did it not just because they supported Harris, but because they were against him as well, like the volume of fucking people, is a sampling of those folks. And again, the people who got out and actually went is well beyond even the people that supported it. And I would say that, like, while we were marching here in Vegas, there were people sitting in the outdoor cafes, there were people walking this way who would just start clapping when they saw us coming. And I guarantee there were maggots who didn't like it. We got a couple of stink eyes. But the vast majority of the people that I saw, and maybe it's because people applauding draws my eye, were clapping when they were watching. So, and I think some of that even showed up in the video I posted on Instagram because I live streamed it.
Demonstrations were very small, very ineffective, and the people were whacked out. When you look at those people, those are not representative of the people of our country.
Yeah, they are.
President, besides San Francisco.
And by the way, I'm not a king. I'm not a king.
We know.
Work my ass off to make our country great. That's all it is. I'm not a king at all.
At all. Yeah, that at all, really. I'm not a king at all. I wish I was. I'm trying to be. I'm not a king at all. If I was a king at all, there'd be a lot more dead people. That's for goddamn sure. That's what he means.
Besides San Francisco, are there other cities you're actively looking at for the National Guard right now?
Yeah. What about it?
I'm just wondering if you care to comment on that.
Well, we've used the National Guard to be very successful in Memphis. You can see the numbers there falling like rocks.
I hope no one's getting hit.
Washington, D.C., Chicago is getting better even though we're going through a lot.
Because it wasn't bad to start with. I guess if you control the numbers, you can't lose. You know what I mean? Because you go in and you go, like, the numbers were coming down anyways. So you go into an area and go, look how I fixed everything up when it wasn't bad. You go to an area which isn't bad, and then you're like, look how good it is now. And you just start filming. It's immediately better. It's like, this reminds me of, like, Dr. Oz saying that obesity is going down in the United States. Like it happened magically in the last 8 months. Ozempic. That might be why. Hold on. Dr. Oz, obesity down. This would be the thing. Let's see. Where is he? Hold on. There are a couple things. One is, let's see. I'll open up this one, and then I think it's just in the YouTube part of it. I have to find it over there. 1 second. Dr. Oz, U.S. obesity numbers. 8 years ago, new obesity. Give me the newest one, you sons of this month. How about this? Where was it? Maybe it was in a written interview. He did there was that point where Trump said...
You mentioned a $1,300 drug at the top of this. Were you referring to the weight loss drugs?
I was referring to Ozempic or I heard the fat loss drug.
So those are going to be $150 out of pocket for
Well,
Americans.
they'll be much lower. They'll be much lower. Yeah, go ahead, please.
We have not negotiated those yet. We're going to be rolling these out over time. The GLP
No, the GLP-1s are not going down in price like that.
category of drugs, which includes Ozempic, have not been negotiated yet.
What's the timeline for that?
But it will. It'll come down, like everyone else.
Okay. Any timeline on those negotiations?
No, but I think those are going to come down pretty fast, and we do have, I guess, some alternative.
The president will be happy with the result, and until he is, we're not going to close those negotiations. Thank you.
Except it'll happen.
You mentioned...
Except that it will happen. Right, yeah. Just believe it. Whether it's you got any evidence of it, it doesn't matter. Anyways, Dr. Oz was saying that like obesity numbers have come down in the last 8 months. And again, largely because, no pun intended, Ozempic. Not because suddenly people are healthy again because MAGA is working.
A $1,300 drug.
Whoops, sorry.
We're trying to do it in a very nice way. I'm allowed, as you know, as president, like 50% of the presidents have used the Insurrection Act. You can use that. And everybody agrees you're allowed to use that, and there's no more court cases, there's no more anything.
No, that's not how it works at all. You can't just use it. You can't just randomly use it. 50% of them have used it because there was a, Hurricane Katrina or the fucking Civil War or the fucking LA riots. You don't get to just use them because you don't like the crime stats in a city. You know what you could do? You could take some of that money you've set aside to build shit in your own image with and give as a loan grant to a group of people who are going to build a giant statue of Prometheus at Alcatraz, apparently. Take some of that money and give it to like the police and the judicial systems in these cities, and so they could afford better policing in those areas, and it would be done by people who live there.
We're trying to do it in a nicer manner.
No, you're not. You're trying to do it intentionally in an incendiary way, the opposite of nice. You're trying to be specifically provocative so that violence happens, so you can have an excuse to can't state your way through a crowd.
We can always use the Insurrection Act if we want.
No, you can't. You can't just always use it.
You take a look in the past. One in particular president used it 28 times during the course of a presidency. So we're allowed to do that. We thought we could do it in a very nice way. All we want to do is have safe cities. We're not.
Hold on. Which president used the Insurrection Act 28 times? Whoops. Why didn't that type? Okay. Which president used the Insurrection Act 28 times? No U.S. president has used the Insurrection Act 28 times. The figure is a false claim. According to research from the Brennan Center for Justice, the act has been invoked in response to approximately 30 crises throughout history, and no single president has used it more than 6 times. Let's see. Abe Lincoln, Dwight Eisenhower, Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson, both at the same time period. Let's see. Civil rights era, labor disputes. Grover Cleveland and Rutherford B. Hayes invoked the act to intervene in labor strikes. They used it against striking workers. And George H.W. Bush used it in 1992 in Los Angeles. Eisenhower, Kennedy, and Lyndon B. Johnson used the act to enforce school desegregation and protection of civil rights. This would be kind of the opposite of that, as it were. Ulysses S. Grant used it the most. He invoked it 6 times to combat white supremacist violence by the Ku Klux Klan in the 1870s. In the 1870s, Grant used it 6 times to fight the Ku Klux Klan. Sorry, the Ku Klux Klan. I know they get upset when I mispronounce it.
Looking for anything that would be spectacular.
They're literally, it's been used 30 times in history, not 28 times by one president. He's a fucking lunatic.
Other than crime-free becomes spectacular. We want to have great crime-free cities. So
who wants that?
Be allowed to use, if I wanted, the Insurrection Act, and then all of this nonsense would go away.
No, it doesn't just go away. You don't get to just use the Insurrection Act and suddenly nobody, like murder stops, people stop committing crimes. Doesn't work that way. Again, unless you're talking about putting a soldier on every street corner for the rest of your presidency.
Absolute right. It's the strongest power a president has. And you have the absolute right to do it. We wanted to go this route, but we get sued every time you look at somebody. You look at.
Yeah, that's true. It's the Anti-Vision Act of 1871. Yeah, this is before sunglasses were invented. So
somebody the wrong way, and you end up getting sued.
You look at somebody the wrong way, and you end up getting sued. I think it's the slamming them to the pavement part is where that shit starts.
We just want no crime. We want to have crime-free cities.
All right. Well, then I don't know. Move out of the country and take Stephen Miller and Corey Lewandowski and what's the dude who dosed and tried to abort the fetus in the stripper he impregnated? Take him with you.
Not a big. I mean, it's pretty common sense, I think, but that's all I want is crime-free cities. I campaigned on it. It's become, I think, even more successful than we thought because of the tremendous success that we had literally in 12 days in Washington, D.C., and it continues. But Washington, D.C., we're so proud of it. People are eating in their restaurants. Restaurants are opening. All the stores and restaurants were closing. You couldn't walk down the street without being mugged or worse.
Yeah, you could. I've been there a bunch. Yeah, Jason Miller, that's right. The guy who, dosed the stripper he impregnated so that she would abort the fetus. The pro-life crowd. No, you can walk around in D.C. without getting mugged or worse.
And now it's a safe city. I mean, it's considered a very safe city. And it's safe because we took 1,700 people out of there and brought them back to where they came from. Yeah.
Where did they come from?
So you're going to South Korea.
Sorry, so let me get this straight. Washington, D.C. was so crime-ridden that you couldn't walk down the street without being mugged, raped, or murdered, and not necessarily in that order. And then you got 1,700 quote-unquote career criminals off the street, and now so these 1,700 people in a city of whatever, 6 million, were responsible for all the crime. Okay. I'm sure the numbers check out.
I am.
Can you tell us more about your goals for your trip to Asia? Where else you may be going?
I have a very good relationship with President Xi of China. We're having disputes on things. They're paying us a lot of money, tremendous amount of money.
They don't pay us. Our own companies and our own citizens pay the tariffs.
Tariffs?
They don't pay us tariffs.
And they'd probably like to have it be less, and we'll work on that, but they have to give us some things too. Right now, China's paying a tremendous amount of money in tariffs.
They're not paying any tariffs.
Like they've never paid before.
Yeah, they've never paid them before, and they're never going to. That's not how shit works.
They paid a lot during my first administration,
No, they didn't. They didn't pay any.
Term. Now they're paying an unbelievable amount of money to.
You're right. I don't believe it. The importer pays the tariff, not the exporter. They don't have to pay it to leave the docks of their own fucking country. We don't have somebody over there sitting on their docks going, where is this package going to be going? To the United States? Okay, give me $10. It doesn't work that way at all.
The United States, they probably can't pay that much, and I'm okay with that. We can lower that, but they have to do things for us too. It's no longer a one-way street.
What would you lower it to?
It was never a one-way street. Again, there's no such thing as a deficit with your wholesaler.
Depends. I mean, we'll have to see what they want. One of the penalties we have it because they're sending in fentanyl. We have a 20%, as you know, a 20% tariff on that. But
yeah, we're just taking a cut of the fentanyl business, I guess.
They'd be paying about 157% tariff, which is, record-setting type tariff. I don't want them to do that. I want to help China. I'm not going to hurt China.
First of all, why would you want to help China? You want to help the American citizens. I think that's the America First line. But I don't know why you would want to help them necessarily. I think that seems odd when he throws that in there. That sounds like he wants to make deals with China for his family after he leaves office when he says, I want to help China. And he does.
But they have to give us things.
Speaking of China, Mr. President, on soybeans.
Why? Why do they have to give us things? Why? If they sell cheap goods and we want to buy them, that's that. That's the market. Sorry. If they're selling something that we also sell and they're undercutting the price legitimately because the government is subsidizing it or something, then you set, like excise taxes on those kind of things or you set a tariff on those particular things. But a blanket tariff has nothing to do with them not treating us fairly, not buying our shit.
Are you confident that you'll
I
be
want
able
them to
get a
buy
deal?
soybeans. One of the things I want is China's going to buy soybeans.
King of soy, he will always be king of soy. I think one of our lovely people on Blue Sky sent me an image, and I think I transferred it. I don't think I downloaded it into my thing. I hope it's on here, because it should be in my photos, and therefore, what's new in photos? Yeah, here it is. This is that over there. That's right. America's #1 soy boy, Donald John Trump. That's right. All you soy is a pejorative maggots out there. Donald Trump is now the king of soy. He will always be king of soy. The premium soy boy of all time, ladies and gentlemen. There he is, drinking his soy latte with his soy milk. Make America gentle again. That's right. Thank you for responding to my request that somebody make some AI images of that. This is pretty fucking awesome.
I want China to stop with the fentanyl.
Stop with the fentanyl. Yeah, he's got an air fryer.
Normal things. I don't want them to play the rare earth game with us.
Nah, don't play the rare earth game with us. You mean the thing where they have them and we want them, but they don't want to sell them because we're not selling them chips, so we're battling back and forth?
Them to, but do you think they will make a deal on soybeans?
I do believe, because otherwise I'm not going to make a deal. No, I want them to buy. Our farmers have been boycotted by China as a negotiating point. I don't want that. Our farmers are great, and in particular our soybean farmers. And I want.
Sorry, in particular, our soybean farmers are great. You don't say. As opposed to every other farmer, all the other farmers, fuck you. The soy farmers are particularly great because they, by and large, make a crop that sells outside the country because it's an export. That's why. We use a decent amount of soybeans in the country, but the vast majority of them are sold to Asia.
Them to start buying soybeans at least in the amount that they were buying before.
Okay, and
I
believe they'll be able to.
But sticking with soybeans and when Argentina, you're looking to do that deal with Argentina, the meal stuff. So
with respect to beef.
Are we expecting a beef deal?
I assume you're talking about beef. Yeah.
No, she's not. She's talking about the soybeans, you dickhead. We gave them $20 billion, then they sold $20 billion worth of soybeans to China. China signed a big deal with them for $20 billion worth of soybeans after we gave them a bunch of money to prop up their currency. That's what she's talking about. The beef part is even worse.
To get beef prices down, the only price we have that's high is beef. And
nope.
Get that down. And one of the things.
Sorry, hold on. Nope. In no way is the only price we have that's high is beef. Nope. I made that. I was very proud of myself. I need a sound effect, but I'll work on it.
What we're thinking about doing is a beef from Argentina.
But my question is, what do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are a top
Argentina's fighting for its life. Young lady, you don't know anything about.
Yeah, this was the clip about the young lady. They're fighting.
They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting.
Again, I showed this the last time. We played this little piece of this clip on the morning show yesterday. But Argentina. Buying sprees. Chile. This is. This is a new. When was this? Yeah, this is from October 5th. They're dying. Argentines blow billions on Jordans and jeans, stoking crisis. Argentine visitors shop at a mall in Santiago, Chile. Hundreds of thousands of Argentines are booking shopping sprees abroad. Hundreds of thousands of Argentines are booking shopping sprees abroad, depleting the hard currency reserves needed to defend the peso. The number of Argentine cars entering Chile is up 50% from a year ago. And their purchases with Argentine bank cards have soared 438% in Chile this year. The peso has become so strong it's making imported goods incredibly cheap for middle and upper class Argentines, triggering a frenzy of shopping trips to Chile. They're dying, young lady. You don't fucking know.
Fighting for their life. You understand what that means?
Yes, they're fighting for gasoline so they can drive across the fucking border and buy Jordans and fucking bedazzled jeans.
Money, they have no anything. They're fighting.
They have no money, no anything except what they buy cheap in fucking hell. It's AI summary might be accurate. No, it's not an AI summary. The takeaways are, let me just re-show you what I showed you. This is an article from Bloomberg Economics. This is an AI summary of the article. It is not a gathering of rando shit. This is what's actually in here. Here, if you don't believe me, let's dive into the article, shall we? You'll see scenes like the one Carolyn Perez witnessed the other day outside a Courtyard by Marriott hotel. There were these two Argentine couples, recalls Perez, a security guard at the hotel, and they were loading all these bulky items they had just purchased into their car to drive back to Argentina. First, they wedged in a TV, then another TV, then a full-sized refrigerator, and then they squeezed their bodies into the car one by one and drove off as Perez looked on dumbstruck. It was shocking, she says. And for the Milei government, deeply problematic. For each month, there are hundreds of thousands of Argentines who, just like those two couples, are booking shopping sprees abroad that are depleting the hard currency reserves Milei needs to defend the peso when it comes under attack. Along one popular border crossing in the mountains, the number of Argentine cars that entered is up 50%. The AI thing I was watching was a summation of this article, not from other sources. It is accurate to what was written about in this Bloomberg article, just to be abundantly clear. This is the This is the girl, this is her wish list in Chile. This is what she was sent to buy. So the other thing is, hundreds of thousands of cars are going in there. People are booking these shops, but other people are like, hey, take my money. Go into Chile and buy me this and bring it back. So not only are they buying shit for themselves, but they're coming back with things for friends and relatives and other people in their town. That's what she's got right here. This isn't just her shit that she was going to get on her trip. I'm sure a majority of it very well could be. But they're also bringing back goods and reselling them in Argentina to other Argentinians, rather. So no, not a summation of that, and not nearly the only article on how Argentinians are doing these. Let's see. This is the Rio Times. There you go. Why Argentines are filling SUVs in San Diego, and what it says about the Argentine peso. Argentine families loaded flat screen TVs, laptops, and bags of clothing into cars before climbing back over the Andes. It looks like a shopping trip. It's really a currency story. Let's go to, here's Yahoo Finance. Argentine's overvalued peso fuels overseas shopping sprees. Argentina's artificially overvalued peso is fueling overseas shopping sprees that are rapidly depleting the country's foreign currency reserves. That's what we sent our money to fix. We're patching the hole created by Argentinians who are going out of the country and using their actual hard currency, their money, and transferring it to Chile, buying cheap goods. Because they're not buying shit wholesale and bringing it back and selling it and growing the market there. No problem. Glad to fill in that gap. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about at all. This is garbage. The U.S. tax dollars that we sent are not only there allowing them to double it by selling all their soybeans to fucking China, but also to patch a hole caused by these Argentinians who are taking their own currency out of the country.
So hard to survive.
They're fighting so hard to survive. I mean, it's really tough if you're trying to get the third fucking refrigerator in your truck.
Help them survive in a free world. I happen to like
In a free world.
the president
In a free lunch world's more like it.
of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can.
Yeah, you're trying to help him get reelected.
But don't make it sound like they're doing great. They are dying. All right? They're dying.
What do you mean by a beef deal, sir?
We would buy some beef from Argentina. If we do that, that will bring our beef prices down. Because our groceries are down, our energy prices are down.
Nope.
I think we're going to have $2 gasoline pretty soon. We're getting close. And everything down. The one thing that's kept up is beef. And if we buy some...
No, let's see. Let's see. Grocery prices. U.S. CPI. Blah, blah, okay. Let's see. August 2025, U.S. grocery prices, food at home CPI increased 0.6% from July, and we're up 2.7% compared to August of 2024. So they're up almost 3% from last year. Overall food prices rose 0.5% for the month, 3.2% year over year, while the all item CPO is up 3.3% for the month and 2.9% over the year. The largest 12-month increases for food categories included meats, poultry, fish, and eggs, 5.6%, and non-alcoholic beverages, 4.6%. Let's see. Food price outlook, summary index, USDA, let's see. The food price outlook 2026. There we go. This is Trump's own numbers. Let's take a look. Consumer Price Index for food not seasonally adjusted. All items consumer price index, a measure of economy-wide inflation, increased 0.3% from July to August 2025, when it was up 2.9% from August 2024, just as I said. Food prices rose faster than overall inflation. Food prices rose faster than overall inflation this year. The CPI for all food increased 0.4% from July, and food prices in August 2025 were 3.2% higher than in August of 2024. So your standard inflation's 2%, right? That's the target point. Food prices in August of 2025 were 3.2% higher than they were when Joe Biden was president. The level of food price inflation varies depending on whether the food was purchased for consumption at home or away from home. The food at home, grocery store or supermarket food increased 0.4% from July 2025 to August 2025, was 2.7% higher than August 2024. Food away from home, restaurant foods, went up 0.3% less and was 3.9% higher than in August of 2024. In 2025, overall food prices are anticipated to rise faster than the historical average rate of growth. This is from USDA.gov. So when Trump says everything is down, he means his IQ. In 2025, prices for all food are predicted to rise 3%. With a prediction interval of 2.6 to 3.4. So they're riding right in the middle of it. Food at home prices are predicted to increase 2.4% with a prediction interval of 1.8 to 2.9%. Food away from home is expected to increase 3.9% and a prediction interval of 3.6 to 4.1%. In 2026, overall food prices are expected to increase more slowly than the historical average rate of growth. In 2026, yeah, sure. In 2026, prices for all food are predicted to rise 2.7%. By the way, is any of this coming down? Is any of this where the numbers are coming down at all? Does a rise of any percentage equate to a lowering of any percentage? Are food prices going to go down at all? No, of course not. With a prediction interval of 1.8 to 7.5%, negative 1.8. So this is the broad of it. It could come down a point, 1.8 if we have a glut. But it could go up 7.5% if we don't. Food at home prices are expected to increase 2.3% with a prediction interval of negative 4.3 to 9.6%. They're broadening the breadth of it out so that they can land closer to this. And food away from home prices are predicted to increase 3.3% with a prediction interval of 0.7 to 5.8%. The food price outlook tracks and forecasts the annual percentage change in food prices by averaging observed and forecast prices for all months of the current year compared to all months in the previous year. The food price outlook does not forecast the 12-month year-over-year change from the month of the forecast. The food blah blah blah. This is a recent historical overview. Between the 70s and 2000s, food at home prices and food away from home increased at similar rates. However, between 2009 and 2019, their growth rates diverged. While food at home prices deflated in 2016 and 2017, monthly food away from home rose consistently. The differences between the costs of serving and prepared foods at restaurants or retailing food in supermarkets was partly explained this divergence. 2020, food at home prices increased 3.5 because everybody was fucking home. And yeah, okay, 2022, food prices increased 9.9% faster than any year since 1979. Food at home prices increased 11.4%, while food away. By the way, these numbers are post-COVID, and Biden brought these down to lower than they are now. This rise, he brought it down to a lower rate than it's going. Now it's going back up. Maggots, hear me now and listen to me later. This is what it was post-COVID. That's called supply shock. Has nothing to do with monetary inflation. It's supply shock. It's the whole country was down, and then it started to get up again, and that energy expression and lack of resources caused that flow. I'll be right there in a moment. Huh? Excellent. Okay. Great. I will get dressed up then. Ish. Hi, Bucky. What's doing? Come on, Bucky. Hello, buddy. Hello. How's my little man? How are you? Did you come in here to chew a wire? Did you come in here to chew up some of my wires, Bucky? He's such a good boy. He's such a good boy. This is Bucky, everybody. You know Bucky. He's the most relaxed cat in the house. Period. Bar none. He's a tree panther that just lays on your arm and just likes it. He just likes the view from up here. He's a pounce predator who's just waiting for his opportunity. He also, I don't know if any of you have like a TV that the remote can have like a pointer on it sometimes, like it can switch to a pointer, or, you know, and he will follow it like it's a bird in the house or a bug or whatever, and he'll start going at it. Won't you? Won't you? Hi. You're such a good boy. You're such a good kitty. Yeah, that's the fan. And he's a big fan of you, young man. Yeah. Yeah. Bucky's just kind of awesome. Yeah. We just got to keep him indoors on Halloween. Somebody will snatch him up because he's lovely. Okay. Out. And then I'll put you down. There you go. There you go, your boy. Thank you. He loves to bat plugs or anything around. So like I have to charge my headphones. I have a cable that this is plugged into, and if it's ever hanging down at the side, like he just goes for it. So I have to like tie everything up. It's been good. It kept me organized. All right, let me finish this thought, and then I gotta go. So, food prices. Let's run back through what he just fucking said.
Our groceries are down. Our energy prices are down. Why?
Nope. Are any grocery prices down? From Trump's own USDA. If they were down, do you think he would just, like, they would be in bold text like this? Do you think they'd be? No. In 2026, they're expected to increase another 2.7%. That is on top of current prices. And that's not, it was 2.4% in 2024. That's higher. Do you understand? And it's not ubiquitous across everything. So some shit's going way up. So no, nothing is coming down. Listen to this guy just randomly bullshit everybody.
That will bring our beef prices down. Because our groceries are down, our energy prices are down. Well, I think we're going to have $2 gasoline pretty soon. We're getting close. And everything's down. The one thing that's kept up is beef. And
yeah, just the one thing. Beef is just raising the prices of everything. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? That makes me want to look up egg prices real quick. Let's see. Egg price projection 2026. Let's give them a little room, right? Whoops, sorry. 2026. I can do this. Quit it. It's just egg price index. U.S. There we go. Da, 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 da. U.S. egg prices per dozen. There we go. Here's the spike in March. So they're down from there. Let's see. Here you go. Here's the full price on these guys. Now, keep in mind, these prices are, eggs, price 2.27. Let's see, where you go, 24 of the day. There's over the year over year, they're down 33.56% because of avian flu. But the regular price is still elevated and will stay that way. So beef, 310, feeder cattle 372, live cattle 243, lean hogs 83, poultry 8, and eggs 2,789. This is like metric ton. So yeah, feeder cattle is down 0.0652% in intraday trading, but it's up 50% for the year. Live cattle's up 29% for the year. Lean hogs are up 5%. Poultry's up 8%. Eggs are down 33% to that, but still elevated because that was related to avian flu. So the price is higher than regular egg sales, but lower because of the spike caused by avian flu directly in that period of time in October.
Buy some beef. No, I'm not talking about that much from Argentina. It would help Argentina, which we consider a very good country, a very good ally in a place. Although I must tell you, if you take a look now, South America is turning. The South American countries are starting to turn very much toward us.
And for you guys,
well, or what? You'll blow them up?
Take away from socialism, and you can go right down the pack. But they are starting to turn. It's pretty amazing.
May I ask you about Israel again? Do you feel that Israel was justified with striking what it did?
Striking where?
In Gaza today and overnight.
I'd have to get back to you on that.
He doesn't even know. He literally doesn't know about that there is no ceasefire. For the record, there's no ceasefire. There is not a ceasefire right now.
What is the next step?
Because we're going to be determined. All of that's is under consideration right now.
Yeah, it's totally under consideration. That's the way I thought. Yeah, phase 2 was we'll consider whether striking or not.
It's under review.
Mr. President, on Harvard.
Who are you with?
I'm with the Washington Post.
That's what I thought.
On Harvard.
You already asked her that.
You said the other week that you had reached a deal, but we haven't heard anything. What's the holdup?
Well, we reached a concept of a deal, but it's pretty complicated.
The concept of a deal? What?
That you had reached a deal, but we haven't heard anything. What's the holdup?
Well, we reached a concept of a deal, but it's pretty complicated because under this deal would be $500 million. They're going to open up trade schools, and I love the idea of trade and trade schools like Harvard. So, they get into like a vocational type school. And the one problem with it, it's very complicated.
Is it? Yeah. Well, you can explain it. You're a man of the people. Explain trade schools.
When do they start? How do they start? Who do they use?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. What color are the walls? What kind of they use plastic seats and wooden desks, or wooden seats and plastic desks?
And different things, and we may just charge them a fine, big fine, $500 million fine.
Mr. President,
and they won't do it again. And if they do, we'll have to just charge them another fine.
You haven't weighed in on the Virginia gubernatorial race that's in a few weeks. Do you plan to endorse the lieutenant governor?
Well, I think the Republican candidate is very good, and I think she should win because the Democrat candidate's a disaster. So I haven't been too much involved in Virginia. I love the state. I did very well in the state. But I will tell you, I think the Republican candidate is excellent, and I think the Democrat candidate is a disaster.
Wow. And those people would be, what are their names again? I mean, I wouldn't want you to think you just say it because of, you'd make these extreme examples just because of party, obviously. It's because of what's their names again?
I mean, I watched.
What did they?
During the debate, she couldn't answer the most basic question. And a big thing with that race and also the race.
Hold on 1 second. Yeah, Spanburgers later. Okay, there we go. This would, whoops, shrink down, stupid. The Virginia Mercury news. There we go. Spanburger's lead narrows as Virginia races tighten in new VCU poll. Survey shows Mieres overtaking Jones for Attorney General after tech scandal. Cost of living remains top voter concern. Democrat Abigail Spanberger holds a 7-point lead over Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears in Virginia's 2025 gubernatorial race, according to a new Commonwealth poll released Tuesday by the survey conducted on October 14th shows Spanberger leading Earl by 49 to 42 among registered voters, down from a 9-point margin reported in the school's September poll. So she went from 9 to 7, which is within the margin of error again. If it fluctuates less than 3 points, you don't know if it went up or down. But okay, so let's just take it at their word. Conducted in August. Spanberger also holds an 11-point advantage among independent voters, 35 to 24, though 20% remain undecided. Yeah, well, they're not going to pop to the Republican in this case if they're undecided. The poll, and by the way, this is Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears, and this is Abigail Spanberger. She's the Democrat. She's the Republican candidate. Let's see. Meanwhile, Republican Attorney General Jason Mieres now holds a 45-42 lead over former Democrat Jay Jones, marking a 9-point former Democrat. He's no longer a Democrat. He's running as an independent now, I guess. Is that the idea? Marking a 9-point net swing since the last survey. Yeah, because it went the other way because the text came out where Jay Jones was saying he wants Jason Mieres' family dead or some shit like that. Which, by the way, I guess fuck that guy. Like, I don't have a problem as a Democrat saying beat it. John Reed with 1 point of Ghazala Hashmi, 44-43. Former Governor L. Douglas Wilder, who founded the VCU school, conducts the poll. The Attorney General's race shows Jason Mieres moving into the lead over Jay Jones. He's going to win, I would argue. These results highlight that several weeks ago, before the election, voters are paying attention to what the candidates are doing and what they have done, especially if they've said, I want to kill or have killed my opponent and their entire family. So I'd count that as a negative. The survey also asked voters which issues most... it would be weird. It's weird to me. The rising cost of living topped the list. 27%, almost a third of respondents said the rising cost of... I thought the cost of everything was coming down. Didn't you hear that? I don't know. Some asshole told me that, but I can't remember his name. Does anyone remember the asshole who said the price of everything is coming down? So why would 27% of people say that was their key issue? And why would the rest of them put it in the top 3? If the price of everything is... Maybe I figured it out. I know. They're worried the prices are coming down too quickly. That must be it. That's gotta be the thing. I want to thank you guys for being with me today. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Patreon.com/HalSparks is a great way to keep the show afloat. I really appreciate you guys for being here with me and sharing the most valuable thing that you have, which is your time. And I will do my best never to waste it. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Hey, my new button works.
The screen glows bright with a crooked smile. We're still out.
Thank you guys for being members as well. And thanks for gifting memberships. That really helps a lot as well, guys. Thank you so much. And Twitch, you guys need to subscribe too. If you have Amazon Prime, it doesn't cost you a dime. Give it a shot. Now I gotta go change my pants. Look out.
This is some bullshit. We see through it.
the war room.
Lady, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave the store.
I got news for you, pal. You ain't leading but two things right now. Jack and shit. Jack left town.